You know that iconic picture of Earth from space? That perfect blue marble? Well, that beautiful, simple image hides an incredible amount of complexity. So let's dive in, because our planet is run by a set of massive, interconnected engines that make all of life possible.
Yeah, deep down, underneath all the continents and oceans, Earth operates through a handful of really powerful, interacting systems. A great way to think about them is like giant global gears. They're constantly moving, exchanging energy and matter, and working together to create the world we live in.
So how do we even begin to understand this massive machine? Well, scientists have boiled it all down to just 4 major systems. That's it, just 4. It's a really elegant way to make sense of a whole planet's worth of activity. But here's where it gets really interesting.
There's one single, very familiar substance that acts as the great connector. It's like the oil that keeps all those global gears turning smoothly. And trust me, by the end of this, you were going to see it everywhere.
Okay, so let's meet the 4 main characters in our planet's story. Scientists call them spheres, and each one is in charge of a completely different part of our world.
First up is the geosphere. The geo part just means Earth. And that's exactly what this is, the solid stuff. The ground you're standing on, all the rocks, the soil, the mountains, and even the super hot molten rock deep inside the planet. It is literally the foundation of our world.
Next, we've got the atmosphere. Atmos means vapor. You can think of this as the invisible blanket of gas that wraps around our planet. It's the air we breathe, mostly nitrogen and oxygen, and it's what protects all of us from the vacuum of space.
Then there's the biosphere. Bio is easy, it just means life. And this sphere includes every single living thing. I mean, everything. From us, to animals, to plants, all the way down to the tiniest little microbes. If it's alive, boom, it's part of the biosphere.
And finally, we have the hydrosphere. Hydro means water. This system covers all the water on our planet. We're talking oceans, rivers, lakes, the water underground, and even all the ice frozen in glaciers. And this is our great connector. So, how exactly does water link these systems that seem so separate? To really get it, let's follow the journey of water as it weaves all these spheres together.
It all comes down to the water cycle. Water from the hydrosphere heats up, evaporates, and rises as vapor into the atmosphere. Up there, it cools down, condenses, and forms clouds. And then, it falls back to Earth as rain. Right there, in that one process, you've got the hydrosphere and the atmosphere locked in a constant, powerful dance.
Now, think about what happens when that water actually hits the ground. When rain from the hydrosphere lands on the geosphere, it starts to break down rocks. That process is called weathering. Then, as rivers flow, they carry all those little rock particles away. That's erosion. So water is literally, physically sculpting the land.
And then, of course, you've got maybe the most vital connection of all, the hydrosphere and the biosphere. Every living thing needs water to survive. We drink it, animals drink it, plants pull it up from the soil to grow. The bottom line is, without the hydrosphere, the biosphere just couldn't exist.
But the connection goes even deeper. The hydrosphere isn't just a resource for life, it's also a home to life. So let's take a closer look inside this incredible world of water. First, let's just appreciate the scale. About 71% of our planet's surface is covered by water. 71%. There's a reason we call it the blue marble. The hydrosphere is by far the largest single environment on Earth.
But here's the thing, not all of that water is the same, and the numbers here are pretty staggering. A massive 96.5% of all water on Earth is salt water. That leaves just a tiny 3.5% as fresh water, the kind that most life on land really depends on.
This huge split creates 2 main types of aquatic ecosystems. You've got your freshwater systems, like rivers and most lakes, and then you have the saltwater systems, which are mainly the huge oceans and seas, but also include some really unique saltwater lakes, like Lake Bardawil in Egypt.
This really shows how the environment shapes life. You know, in a calm, freshwater pond, you find things like water lilies and frogs. In a cool, flowing stream, you'll find catfish and trout. And in the vast, salty oceans with their waves and currents, you get a completely different world with dolphins and kelp. The type of water dictates the kind of life you'll find there.
Now remember that tiny little percentage of fresh water? Well, here's the kicker. Most of it isn't even liquid. The vast majority is locked away as solid ice in glaciers. So the amount of accessible liquid fresh water is actually incredibly small.
So the crucial takeaway here is this. You can't talk about the land, the air, or life without also talking about water. These systems aren't separate things. They're all part of a single interconnected web. Just think about a plant's roots reaching into the soil to absorb groundwater. In that one simple action, you have the biosphere, the plant, interacting with the hydrosphere, the water, which is stored inside the geosphere, the soil. It's a perfect, simple example of three systems working as one.
And this is why it all matters so much. No system operates in a vacuum. A change in one sphere, like shifting rainfall patterns in the hydrosphere, will cause ripple effects that travel through all the others, impacting the land, the air, and every single living thing.
And that brings it all right back to us. As members of the biosphere, we influence these systems every single day. So the question I want to leave you with is this: how do your actions ripple through this incredible planetary machine?